The 109th Indianapolis 500 is brought to you by Qapital. Welcome to Christmas Eve here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is Legends Day. Nothing actually happens here today. No cars on the racetrack. There's a parade downtown. I don't really care about that, but some people do. I am so excited. This is one of the most intriguing Indianapolis 500s that I've ever had the chance of not only attending, but covering. There's so many storylines, so many unknowns, and we're really not going to know until 500 miles are completed, and that's exactly the way it should be. We've got new shirts from Gutswear and Gutswear.com. You can go on the Gutswear.com website and check those out. They've been a great sponsor of our history segments this month. They're also at the Gutswear trailer just outside of Pagoda Plaza. So if you want to buy them at the racetrack tomorrow for the Indianapolis 500, you can do that. They're super comfy. I wore my own merch yesterday. You'll also hear my pick for the Indianapolis 500, but I'm not going to give you that until the end of the video, so don't expect that just now. And you'll also hear from the drivers. One of the things I tried to ask most of the drivers in the bullpens throughout the month of May was, where is the pass for the win going to happen? You'll hear many, many different answers from them. Let's quickly look at the rest of the month as things happened. I think there's some really key storylines. The first is, this Dale Coyne goes by. Hello, Dale. The first storyline is that Alex Palou is on an incredible winning streak in the IndyCar series. He's won 4 out of the first 5 races. He started the month at the Indy GP by winning his 4th race of the season. Alex Palou's on one of the biggest hot streaks we've ever seen, but he's never won on an oval, but he's come close here in the past. He finished 2nd in 2021. Robert Schwartzman, the first rookie to qualify in the pole since 1983, the first rookie to start there since 1996. That is going to be a huge dynamic to the start of this race, and really the first few stints of this race is, can Robert Schwartzman stay in contention? Can he stay up there? Can he battle for the race win? We're going to find that out. We're going to discuss it more later on in this video. Joseph Newgarden, he comes into this race looking to do something that no other driver has ever done before, and that's win 3 Indianapolis 500s in a row. So many have tried before, so many incredible names. Maury Rose, Wilbur Shaw, Al Unser Sr., Bill Vukovich, Helio Castroneves. Joseph Newgarden looks to do something that they've never done before, but he'll have to do it from the final row of the grid, a place that no driver has ever won the race from before. And that is because Team Penske was caught with illegal modifications to their rear attenuator. That's a safety item. You're not supposed to do that. It's their second infraction of such a magnitude in the last 2 years. That had led to incredible ramifications for Team Penske. Tim Cindric, the president, fired. In fact, the head of all 3 cars, Ron Rosinsky, as well as Kyle Moyer, fired as well. Huge, huge implications for Team Penske in the future, as well as the future of this sport. That's going to be a storyline to continue on through the rest of the year, not just here at the Indianapolis 500. And because of those penalties, 2 of the worst pit box stalls will be handed to the 2 Penske cars that were penalized for having those illegal parts on them. The number 2 of Joseph Newgarden and the 12 of Will Power. Not only will they start from the back row, they'll have the worst pit stalls. But the good news is those 2 teams were the fastest on the pit stop competition. So what time they may lose on pit entry and pit exit, they may gain back just in general with the stops. So let's take one final look at the starting lineup for this year's Indianapolis 500. And that incredible row 1, who expected this? Robert Schwartzman, the rookie, on the pole position. We're going to see how long he can stay up there. Can he get to turn 1 first? Takuma Sato has won the Indianapolis 500 both times he started in the first 2 rows. He starts in the center of the front row today. No one's won there since Juan Montoya in 2000. And on the outside is Pato O'Ward, the Cinderella story of last year, still looking for his first Indianapolis 500 win. Row number 2, Scott Dixon looking for his 2nd win, the first since 2008. No one's led more laps at the 500 than Dixon. Felix Rosenquist has been quietly fast all month and has a great shot to win for Meyer Shank Racing. And on the outside is Alex Palou, who many are picking as the odds-on favorite. Row number 3 is David Malukas looking to get A.J. Foyt back to the victory lane here for the first time since 1999. Christian Lundgaard has been steadily increasing his speed over the course of the month. He starts in the center. And on the outside is the 2022 winner, Marcus Ericsson. Row number 4 sees Scott McLaughlin, one of the fastest drivers here all month, but he'll be running in a backup car. Connor Daly in the center. Many are picking him as a dark horse, as well as Alexander Rossi, the 2016 winner. Row number 5 sees Kiff Dog on the inside. Kevin Simpson coming back from a crash on Fast Friday. Ed Carpenter says he's happy with his car. He starts in the center. And Santino Ferrucci, who has an incredible string. He's never finished outside the top 10 at the 500. He looks to continue that. Next row is Devlin DeFrancesco on the inside. He's looked strong this month. Stingray Robb in the center for Juncos, and on the outside is Christian Rasmussen, who's crashed twice in turn 2. Kyle Larson's on the inside of the next row, Louis Foster in the center, and Callum Ilott. Larson, of course, might have to go to Charlotte early, and that would definitely delay his Indianapolis 500 dreams. Helio Castroneves, the oldest driver in the field, looking for his 5th Indianapolis 500 win. No driver has ever done that. Kyle Kirkwood has lost the speed he showed earlier in the month in the center, and Nolan Siegel, the rookie, on the outside for Arrow McLaren. Ryan Hunter-Reay is going to a backup machine after his burned down yesterday in carb day practice. That was very unfortunate for the Dreyer Reinbold team. Jack Harvey in the center, his teammate, and on the outside, Colton Herta looking to come from deep in the field in a backup machine. Row number 10 sees Graham Rahal, the Regal names next to each other, with Marco Andretti alongside. Rahal lost an engine in carb day practice yesterday. Marcus Armstrong on the outside in a backup machine. We're going to see what he can do from the outside of row number 10. Rinus VeeKay on the inside of the 11th and final row. He was the last chance qualifier hero, bumping his teammate out, Jacob Abel, and then the 2 Penske's penalized, put to the back of the field. Joseph Newgarden looking for his 3rd Indianapolis 500 win in a row, and Will Power, the 2018 winner, on the outside. As I've mentioned, no one has won from the final row of the grid.
Just like the Indy 500 isn't won in a single lap, building wealth takes strategy and the right team. With Qapital's automated savings tools, you'll navigate every turn of your money journey and race towards your goals faster. Whether you're saving for a new car, vacation, or building an emergency fund, Qapital puts money management strategies in your pocket. Download Qapital today at qapital.com/David Land. That's QAPITAL.com/David Land.
So let's talk a little bit in general about the type of race that we're going to see tomorrow. There's a lot of storylines that aren't just driver related. They're going to be related to the machines themselves. The conditions tomorrow, we're expecting mid-60s, one of the coolest 500s we've seen in a very, very long time. With cool conditions, you can trim the cars out. The cars can run closer. The air is perfect. The air is perfect as well for the engines. A lot of horsepower, a lot of downforce, a lot of opportunities to make passes, run close together. It could be a very exciting Indianapolis 500. You think back to 2013 where it was almost too exciting. The fans stopped cheering the lead changes because there were so many of them. We could see a race like that tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. The tires, that's been a big storyline that I think not as many people have been talking about, but I think it is extremely important. A new compound that was run last year, essentially bulletproof without an extra 100 pounds from the hybrid in the cars. But now the tires wear out a little bit throughout the stint. That's not a bad thing. That means that the drivers and teams that have their cars set up the best, the drivers who can drive their cars the best, will be able to manage the tires throughout the stint. I think we'll see some comers and goers, especially in the last 10 laps of a tire stint. The hybrid, I just mentioned it, a new element to this race, one that makes us ask a few questions about what the finish of this race is going to look like. Will that 60 horsepower boost that the hybrid is capable of giving you be able to push you past another driver, maybe out into turn 3 or out of turn 4? We'll see. The hybrid also comes with reliability concerns. That's the other thing. I mean, we saw an engine failure. We've seen a couple throughout this month, but not nearly as many as we saw last year. Honda changed their engines on Friday, Fast Friday. Chevrolet changed theirs after qualifying. Is that going to play a factor into the reliability? We've already seen one Honda fail. A lot of them failed in the race last year. And even if the engines don't fail, the hybrid unit has not run 500 straight miles by itself. The last time that it did run 500 miles in quick succession was ironically at Milwaukee last year. And if you'll remember, the second race, the next 250 miles, there were a ton of mechanical failures, many of them hybrid related. Yellow flags. We've seen an abnormally few amount of yellow flags in the IndyCar series this year. 100 years ago, Peter DiPaolo set the speed record at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at 100 miles per hour. There's a chance, if there are few yellows, that this race could be the first to average 200 miles per hour at the Indianapolis 500. Now, would it have to essentially be caution-free? Absolutely, for that to happen. But it is absolutely possible, and something that would be an incredible milestone if it was achieved. Let's talk a little bit about the drivers again. The drivers have been the big storyline this year. Robert Schwartzman the rookie pole sitter, the first one that's qualified there since Teo Fabi in 1983. 1996 was the last time with Tony Stewart that a rookie led the field to green. We haven't seen it in the modern era, almost 30 years. There's a lot of question marks. That front row, extremely combustible. You've got a rookie on the inside. You've got Takuma Sato, no attack, no chance on the outside of him. And then to the extreme outside is Pato O'Ward, who we know can be extremely aggressive when he wants to be, especially when he's got a car to win. How conservative will Pato be on the start? I don't know. I think Schwartzman will be strong. His car looks extremely good up at the front. So if he can get to the first turn first, he might be a factor for a very long time. And I mentioned Takuma Sato. Never won after he's started in the first two rows before. You can never count Sato out here at the Speedway. He's one of the best drivers. That's why he's got 2 Indy 500 wins at this track. And certainly I think it would be an incredible thing for Honda to get their first win at the Indy 500 with the hybrid unit with Takuma Sato. I think that would, I wouldn't say it would smooth a lot of things over, but I certainly think it would make a lot of the bitter taste maybe turn down a little bit. Alex Palou and Scott Dixon, the two contenders out of the Ganassi stable. They didn't look as strong as we thought they might have on carb day, especially Alex Palou. I expected him to look a lot stronger. Now, certainly they could have been holding some things back. There's always that possibility. But I certainly think you can't count out either of the two Ganassi drivers, whether that's Alex Palou or Scott Dixon, or really even Kiffin Simpson, who I think could have a chance to win if a fuel mileage race breaks out. The dark horses, I think there's 2 of them. I think Connor Daly, who ironically his pit I'm standing in right now, his cars look good. The Juncos team has been very strong, particularly his car last year with Agustin Canapino was a top 5 contender last year. Connor, of course, starts a lot higher in the field this year. Connor has run at the front. He knows how to race for the win here, although he has yet to do it. And Alexander Rossi, while he had trouble yesterday in carb day, didn't run all that much. In fact, only ran 5 laps before a water pump failure took him out. I still think Rossi knows exactly how to get to the front of the field. Ed Carpenter Racing is hungry. Wouldn't be surprised to see Alexander Rossi in the mix. Team Penske. Scott McLaughlin will be strong. There's no doubt about it. He's not as strong as I thought he would be, especially now that he's in a backup car. That's going to be a tough thing for him to overcome, but it's not impossible. Also not impossible either of Joseph Newgarden or Will Power coming from the back row and winning this race. You think about some drivers like Tom Sneva, Mario Andretti, Scott Goodyear. They've come from the back row before. Scott Goodyear, in fact, came within a couple of feet of winning the Indy 500 from the back row. So if you think about modern history and you think about how strong Joseph Newgarden looked in carb day yesterday, there's very much a chance that Joseph Newgarden could win his 3rd Indy 500 in a row from the back row. So I spoke to some drivers over the course of this month, and I asked them all the same question. What will the last lap look like, and where will the pass for the win happen?
If I pass in turn 3.
If you're going for the win, where are you going to pass? Where are you going to make the pass for the win?
I think what Joseph did last year was the right call. I think that was the right approach because it's quite, it seems like there is a chance for a driver to get out of T4 and overtake, but it's at the same time it's so fast because we're going so quick that at the finish line it can be really tight. So probably from my side I would do something like him. So just stay out of T2 and then before coming to T3 try to overtake him. And
on the outside. That's a pretty bold move for a rookie.
I mean, it depends on how quick, man. I mean, if you go for the Indy win, you need to put everything at stake, So it's either you win, either you lose, but you have to try it. So if I would be in a position there where it will be last lap, I'm second, and I have this opportunity where I'm catching up and I go overtake, I will go around the outside as well.
Probably very similar, depending on the wind direction, of course. But obviously, the pull the win from Joseph last year was one of the amazing pass. We've seen it with the Helio did it, and I was part of it too. So no, I think it's a lot of happening. You never know until turn 4. With JL things happening in the past too. So I think long race, but there's a lot of opportunity and huge excitement. That's why we come back.
It's going to happen into turn 3 unless someone else has a different plan in shunts before the checkered flag is out, and well, that's what eliminated my opportunity in 2022. So you can't time it, especially when you're dependent on other people's mistakes and other people's decisions. If it comes down just to your decision, that's definitely the place to do it. But are you willing to risk it when everybody else is risking it? I don't know.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be the last stretch to the finish. Turn 4 to the finish. Yeah.
Any particular reason you think that?
I think just the way it works now with a hybrid. If you're second, it's a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, now with the hybrid, it's interesting. Even for me, I went out a few laps, and they're asking why you're not using the hybrid. I was like, that's right, there is a hybrid here. I forgot. But this is the things. I do believe, this is definitely going to play a little bit hands towards the end. I agree. I don't think it's going to be different than the last lap. But whoever has that left might be the winner.
I don't care as long as it's me in the lead. It doesn't matter to me.
Figured you might say that.
It could happen. It could happen going to the line. Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Well, I would say if the leading car used up their hybrid energy on the back straight and the second place did not, you could blow by on the front straight.
Yeah, that surprised the shit out of me last year. I was watching because I was stuck behind, I think it was him, and there was no chance to pass. So I was watching the TV screens as I came out of 2, and I'm like, hell. So I didn't think he'd stay that long around the outside. I think it's the timing, because especially some of those cars that are super quick, they take half a lap to pass. So if you can do it into 3 and carry enough, if you do it late enough into 3 and get them in the aero wash, you can carry enough momentum that you could probably survive till the line. I think if you do it, if you try and get them out of 4, it's close and no guarantee. And if you do it before, you're just at risk of how quick that car is behind.
You know, I was thinking that yesterday when everybody was kind of in a big train and looking at how when a car does pass, there is more of it. It seems like more of an opening. In the past, when the car in P2 passes P1, maybe going into turn 1, that gap can stay very close, and it seems that has opened up a bit. Maybe it was the conditions yesterday, maybe it was the wind yesterday, I'm not sure, but it's a good question. I predict maybe that a pass going into 1 will not be repassed on that last lap.
Probably on the back straight. Yeah, I think the back straight, it's going to be hard to pass out of turn 4 before the line. I think you're not going to have enough for that. But it's going to be interesting with the hybrid, though, like how you play that. If you're out of charge out of the last corner and the white guy behind you have a full charge, that might be enough to get you around. So I don't think you want to lead a lot. That's going to be the thing. Like, it's going to be like a game of chess.
I don't know. It'll happen wherever I need it to happen.
I'm never planning for it. I wasn't planning for turn 3, so I don't know. I don't have an answer for you, to be honest.
So I've mentioned that Gutswear.com has been an awesome sponsor this month. Don't have a full history segment today, but I do want to pay tribute to one Rufus Parnelli-Jones. Parnelli, we lost him last year. He was the 1963 winner of the Indianapolis 500, but he meant so much more to this series and this paddock than that. He was a race fan his entire life. He was a supporter of every driver, not just the drivers of his era, but the modern drivers as well. Parnelli, incredibly significant. He was the first driver through the 150-mile-per-hour barrier here at the Speedway with his pole position in 1962. He came back the next year and won in the fabulous Old Calhoun in 1963. He almost won his second Indy 500 in 1967, driving Andy Granatelli's incredibly innovative turbine car, the STP Turbine. He then became a team owner and won 2 races with Al Unser Sr., those being back-to-back in the Vels Parnelli-Jones team, the Johnny Lightning Specials. Of course, we've been talking about back-to-back winners for so many years. And Parnelli-Jones, one of those adaptable drivers, started in a roadster, ended in a rear-engine car. Not many of those drivers even existed, much less thrived. He had an incredible career that spanned the Baja 1000, Pikes Peak, Trans Am, sports cars, NASCAR, pretty much whatever you could drive and drive fast, Parnelli-Jones did it, and did it better than anybody else. We feel so sad anytime one of these great champions leaves us, and Parnelli-Jones certainly left us last year. So just wanted to say that on Legends Day here. No more appropriate legend, no more appropriate title for a driver than legend, the legend of Parnelli-Jones. All right, my pick for the Indianapolis 500. There's a driver that I haven't talked about a whole lot. You might have noticed that I haven't been talking about him. And there's a part of me that really, really wants to pick Joseph Newgarden for this race. I think he looked absolutely incredible yesterday. I think he's pissed off. I think his pit crew's pissed off. I think Team Penske's pissed off. I think they want to win this race worse than they ever have before. But coming from that back row, you just have to look at statistics. You have to look at history, and you have to say, that's working against Joseph Newgarden. All of these things are working against him. The winner of the race, I believe, is going to be Pato O'Ward. And I know that's not really sticking my neck out, but him starting on the front row after competing for the win last year with a car that had no business being up there. Well, his car has a business being up there now, and the driver's always belonged up there. He milked a cow yesterday. The cow was named Rihanna. I don't know if that means anything. I guess we'll find out on Sunday. Right now I'm picking Pato O'Ward. It was tough because, recent history would tell you to pick Alex Palou. It would tell you to pick Joseph Newgarden. Some of the numerology would tell you Takuma Sato. I think those are all valid picks. If you wanted to go crazy, you could pick a Connor Daly or an Alexander Rossi, but it seems like Pato's the driver of destiny right now. And until he proves me wrong tomorrow, I think I'll be talking to him in victory, well, not in victory lane, but in the media center tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what your picks for the Indianapolis 500 are down in the comment section below. It's Christmas Day tomorrow, okay, everybody. I'm so excited. It's been such a fun month. We're so happy. We've got so much more content coming, and we'll see you for coverage of the 109th Indianapolis 500.